Good morning, Riana. It's Jamie Siracusa. I'll tell you, it's funny. I was blessed, and I always say this, blessed or cursed, with such a positive attitude. I could be standing in the middle of a building that's falling around us, and I would, turn it around somehow that, wow, what a great, atrium this will be. I was born with that, and I almost think that it's, in some cases it's hereditary, because my father was very positive. And I see some people that are negative in nature, or the glass is always half empty in nature. And, I don't know whether that's something that is learned behavior or, whether it is. And I guess this is going to be a psychology question that I'll pose back to you. Is it something that's self-taught and a learned behavior, or is there a part of it that's hereditary?
There's a lot of arguments of nature versus nurture. Were you born with it, or because of your childhood you've become this way? For example, I was at a seminar yesterday on anxiety, and they're saying, is it nature or is it nurture? Are you born with anxiety, or do you pick it up because you had anxious parents or a traumatic childhood? And a lot of times the answers are a little bit of both. Looking back also at, my childhood, my father was positive, but always, not home very often due to the fact of his type of work. He was traveling abroad a lot. We thought he was in track meets. Little do we know Dad was playing James Bond at the time and doing his work. And then Mom had to hold down the household with 5 kids, and that was very difficult. And, being a married person, she missed her husband. So, it wasn't always easy. And, I saw my father as positive, but not around much, and my mother, having hard times and doing the best that she could. And they're both, very great people. But, the psychology question of that is, I'd like to recommend a book called The Answer by John Asraf. He's actually one of the gentlemen interviewed in The Secret.
Okay.
And he was a young boy, Hispanic male, that grew up in a hard life, dropped out of school in 6th grade, became a member of the gang, and an older gentleman took him in as a mentor and taught him a lot of the teachings of The Secret. And he became a follower, and today he's a multimillionaire, very successful business person. He tells his story on The Secret. And afterwards, he wrote a book called The Answer. And he decided to turn around and give a lot of money to research to say, The Secret works. How did this work so well for me? As a total believer, total follower. And the money went into brain research. And now you'll see all over the bookstores a lot of books on brain research, and that you can retrain the brain and your way of thinking to whatever it is you want to be. So if you're constant a negative thinker and complainer, your life will be negative. Why? You're telling yourself your life is miserable. Guess what? Your life is going to be miserable. It's a parenting situation, too. I say to your parents, if you tell your kids they're fabulous, they're going to grow up to be fabulous. If you say, he's a loser, he gets in trouble at school, he has fights, or just a loser, what does he believe? He believes he's a loser. So you can retrain the brain for how you think, feel, act, and speak. And they say it's about 30 days to incorporate a good habit, practicing it on a daily basis. So if you're using the positive self-talk technique for 30 days and you're filling your mind by reading books of the masters and understanding the brain research of, wow, this is really cool, this breaks down the quantum physics and neurophysics, that the brain can absolutely be changed from the childhood dysfunction that you might have gone through or any trauma. It's really fascinating to see. I did catch, and unfortunately I didn't see the show, but I saw a promotion for a television show. It says, can the mind really create the new things in your life? And it caught my attention. It's like, finally, it's coming out in television. It was like a 60 Minutes or a 20/20 show that they were showing, again, the brain scientific research that absolutely, indeed, anyone can change their life by retraining the brain. So it's cutting edge, it's fascinating reading material, and if you practice it, again, what you believe you will achieve. And I am so much a proponent on it. I've been practicing The Secrets and the Watch Me Attitude. Well, the Watch Me Attitude for years, and now The Secret and the Watch Me Attitude, for at least the past couple of years. So my growth is planned, and the goals are, important. Perhaps, Jamie, I should go into the goal-setting technique that I talk about in the book, because I really feel that works too.
Oh, absolutely. Please don't.
Okay. Every day, you should wake up with 3 goals that you have in mind for that day. And it can be important goals or just a minuscule goal, like, I have to remember to call this person. I want to make sure I get to the bank today, and I want to do this. And then if you have time, you have 2 backup things that you want to do. That sets your day out on a plan, so that you never just get into the office with a blank slate and say, okay, what is it I have to do now? You've already got in mind there's 3 things and maybe 5 things you're going to do for today. Then you have weekly goals, and I usually do those on Sunday night. By the end of this week, and I usually mean by Friday, I need to get this, this, and this done. And by Tuesday or, next weekend, I'm going to prepare for my singles event that's the following Wednesday. So I know what my week is going into it. So I enter my week very organized and stress-free. And I don't even write them down. I've been practicing this technique for years that I don't have to write them. But some people prefer to write these down initially to keep themselves organized. Then I have a monthly goal. At the end of the month, I want to make sure this and this is done. Currently, I'm rewriting my website, so, each week now I have a goal to finish a certain section of my website to get it to my designer. And by the end of the month, this first stage 1 is our goal to get done. So I have monthly goals to complete. And then I have 6-month goals, and then I have a yearly goal. Now, I always say, this is something I taught my models way back when, twice a year on your birthday, which is your personal New Year, and New Year's Eve, I want you to do 6 goals, 3 personal goals, and 3 business or school-oriented goals. And that's to take you from the next 6 months. Now, if your birthday is around December or February, I say use America's birthday, July 4th, to be the time you do the series of 6 goals. So I've been doing this twice-a-year goal setting since I was 16, 17, and it has really kept me growing in the path that I wanted to go on. And it has really helped me reach all the goals that I set out as a young person to reach. And sometimes I thought, how am I ever going to be a psychotherapist? I got to go back to school. How am I going to do that as a single mom? Just making ends meet and just starting a model empowerment agency. How am I going to be a therapist?
Yeah.
And I just say, don't worry too much about the future. Live in the now. Live in the present. However, you have these goals for the year set up. And if you reach them early on, then you replace that goal with something else. But I always say reward yourself when you're finished, a very important goal. Like my book, I set a birthday goal of September saying I'm going to have the rough draft of my book done within 6 months. And I actually took myself on a vacation alone so I could sit and write without being disturbed. I happened to have a hurricane hit in the middle of Compass St. Lucia when I was writing. And I said, oh, God gave me writing weather. I'm not too tempted now to go out to the beach every day, So I was forced to write. And I got a good portion of the book done, and within 6 months it went out to the editors for the first editing round. So, this goal setting has really worked for me, and the people I've coached it to, it also has worked very well for them.
Well, thank you for that. And, it's funny, I'm here writing like crazy while we're trying to do the interview.
You can hear it again on the tape, Jamie.
That's too logical. It doesn't, I use the multi-ways of learning, so I'm writing while I'm listening while,
And you can always read my book, too, The book, actually, you can purchase at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. You can email me at therapybythesea@gmail.com, or go on my website, which is www.rianamilne.com. And I'll spell that because I know my name's unusual. It's RIANAMILNE and you can see all the businesses on there and get more information. You can actually order the book right through PayPal. And if you order from me, of course, I would sign it as a dedication to yourself or someone you're buying the book for. It's interesting, though. It's nice to see someone buy the book and come back and say, Riana, I need 4 more for people I want to give them as a gift.
Yeah.
And that's great because it helps with the charities as well. So it's a gift for everybody when they're purchasing and they felt they got so much from the book that they want to give it to someone else. So
well, I'm going to order one through you so I can get it signed and
thanks, Jamie.
Wish us luck and good wishes here at the Success Center.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think what you're doing is really needed, and it's going to be helping a lot of people. And I know you are also that kind of good-hearted individual that gets a lot of joy by helping others. So I'm sure you're going to be a great success over there. Your passion is there.
I love it.
Yeah, so best of luck to you in your new endeavor. I'm sure it'll be great.
Thank you. Now, to finish off, I'm going to ask you a hard question. What do you think is most needed in our society today?
What is most needed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It depends let me first deal with the emotional level, okay, if I can. I guess I come from that aspect a lot as a therapist. I think what the world is lacking a lot of today is integrity. And a lot of people hear that word integrity. They all have heard it. It's like, yeah, integrity, but what does that really mean? I define it this way to my clients. Integrity means you're doing the right things when nobody's watching. Because ultimately, God's watching, and you're going to get found out. And I'm finding a lot of individuals and couples are breaking down, which then ultimately is a breakdown of the family due to a lack of integrity. And it's really a shame. It's destroying a lot of families and children's lives, and there's a lot of breakups due to lack of integrity today.
Well, listen, thank you so much. We've gone over our time, and it went too fast. There's more that I wanted to ask you, but I'll have to cut this one up already, just so it won't take up too much bandwidth on the website.
But thank you for having me, Jamie. I really appreciate it. It's always been a pleasure to work with you in many business capacities, and I'm sure we will long into the future.
I loved it, and thank you again.
Thanks. See you soon, Jamie.
Right, bye.
I'll bring you the book by for you, okay?
Okay, there we go. All right, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.